Hey everybody, welcome back, and today I have another tutorial slash first impressions, and this is for a new palette, brand new formula, and I'm talking about the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist collaboration, the Club Nebula palette. Now, I was box wine drinking, as one does, and I got a notification either from Karen Harris or Britt Clark, who are like my crack dealers, and they were letting everybody know that this palette went live. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy that palette. And I've just gotta say, I'm so glad I did. I wanna say this, I bought it the day it released. It shipped on the 22nd, and then I got it on the either Monday or Tuesday of this week. So like the 8th or the 7th or 8th. Took a little bit of time to get here, but I don't blame that on anybody other than just the USPS, because the USPS is a mess. But I got it in my hands, I opened it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just as beautiful in person as it looks on everybody else's YouTube videos. If you watch Angelica, you know that she loves bright, bold, in-your-face color. It's very much what her channel revolves around, and this palette is very, very indicative of that. The colors are just, when you see it in person, they're just beautiful. So if you want to see how I got this look and hear some of my thoughts on this palette, then stick around. Everybody, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the Sigma E25 blending brush, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the shade 7 of 9, and we're just going to start working this into the crease. Now, this is my first time working with this eyeshadow formula, and I have had to do this eye look a couple of times just because it's a different formula. I'm learning how to work with it. I like it. It's just a different way of applying my shadow for me. So just because these shadows are so pigmented, and again, this is just first impressions. So really, because these shadows are so pigmented, pick up a little at a time, kind of place it where you want it, and then work on that blend. And I'm going to take this color, this 7 of 9 color, all the way over to the inner corner. So normally I go in with my transition shade on a fluffy brush and just kind of place it where I want it and build off of that. But I really feel like I'm better off really kind of just placing this and then doing smaller blending motions. And I'm taking this up pretty high. I'm taking another E25 brush, and now we're going to go into this Queen of Blades shade, which is that green shade. So I wanted just a little bit of green in this crease, so I'm just kind of placing it over the 7 of 9 shade, and we're going to build it up just a slightly less high than where we had the 7 of 9 shade. I'm just going to take a clean, fluffy brush. This is just my Wet n Wild brush, and just kind of blend out any harsh lines. And if we get a little too crazy, we can always go back and fix it. I'm going to use that same Sigma E25 blending brush, and we're going to go into the deepest, darkest blue shade called Void. And I'm really going to concentrate this on, I should have a shadow shield on, but oh well. We're going to concentrate this on the outer third. And just like we did in that Wet n Wild tutorial with the Heart and Soul palette, we're going to kind of build up that cat eye and build up that shape. I'm going to slowly drag this over too. It's always interesting working with a new shadow formula that you've never worked with before, especially when you're going with these super, super intense colors. It's, you know, sometimes it's a challenge, but you know, just in your own experience can create a challenge, but makes it fun. I'm going to take the mash, just a flat mash shader brush, and we're going to go into the shade Gravity. And I'm just going to place this all over the inner half of my eye and kind of blend that into those blue or greeny shades. So Void and, was it Queen of Blades? The pigmentation of these shadows is just absolutely bananas. Maybe I wasn't expecting that, even though everybody tells you like they're super, super pigmented. And I kind of went in guns blazing and was like, oh, okay, maybe I need to calm it down. All right, I'm gonna go into Firefly, which is the shade right here. And you can apply this dry. Works beautifully. I did try that out before I wiped out off my first look, but I am gonna wet this down just to make sure it really sticks and I'm avoiding any fallout. Like, hello. This is a beautiful kind of blue to green type of shift. It's really gorgeous. I'm just gonna paint that over Gravity. I'm gonna flip that brush over to the dry side, pick up just a little bit more of that Firefly color, and just kind of stamp it over where I applied the shade wet to really get maximum impact there. I'm gonna pick up that same mass shader brush and wipe it off, and I'm gonna go back into this Queen of Blades color. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just work on transitioning those shades into those, that light Gravity shade into the deeper, darker shades that we have on the outer corner of the eye. So yeah, we got to get a nice kind of pretty blue to green there. And if you feel like you need to go back in with Gravity. Again, just work it back and forth until you get a blend that you're happy with. And I'm just going to go back in and just reiterate with Firefly. Just right where we blended. So you get a nice blend there. I'm going to pick up a Coastal Scents BRC S09 and go back into Void, which is that deepest darkest blue shade, and really, really build this up on the outer corner so that blue really shows up. Once I've got that shadow placed there, I'm just going to go back in with my E25 in very, very slight, small blending motions, and we're going to blend this up. I'm going to use my Marc Jacobs Highliner Crayon in my waterline, and I'm going to put just a little bit just right underneath my lash line. I probably can't do this on camera, so I'll be right back. Okay, we are a good smudgy mess down there. That is perfect, and that's kind of where we want to be. So I'm going to pick up my Coastal Scents S09 brush again and go in with that deep dark Void shade. So again, we're working with this deep dark blue. It looks almost purple on my camera, but it's not. It's a deep navy blue. It's really pretty. And we're going to start by just placing the shadow along the lower lash line. And then we're going to really blow this out. It's going to look like a big old mess, but we'll clean it up, so don't worry about it. Yes, that is some... I went out to a club and spent the night in a gutter... Look right there. I'm feeling it. I'm going to pick up my BRC S06 brush from Coastal Scents, which is my favorite under eye shader brush, blending brush, and we're going to go back into 7 of 9. And we're going to start blending this out and lightening it up. We're going for subtle today, guys. It might take some time, just, you know, but take your time. I'm getting some fallout down here, so just be aware you are better off doing your face last. So I'm going to pick up a clean BRC S06 brush, and I'm going to pick up my trusty Brulee shade from Wet n Wild. Oh, I hope I'm in focus. Sorry, guys. And I'm just going to run that underneath the eye, kind of erase, lighten up, calm down anything where we got a little too crazy, because it happens. All right, and just to brighten everything up, I'm going to go in with a BRC S50, BRC S52 brush, and I'm going to go in and mix Pink Peony and Cotton from my Lorac Mega Palette, Mega Pro 4. I just wanted a really light, bright brow bone shade, and this is just what I had on my desk. So just use whatever is handy. I'm going to pick up my trusty BH Cosmetics brush, and I'm going to go into Firefly, and I am going to spray this down. Just pop that right over that green in the inner corner. Kind of take it down a little bit. And then I'm going to go into the shade Nova with that same brush. I'm just going to pick up a little bit. Again, I'm just spraying that down, and I am just going to pop that right on top. And I'm really going to take that underneath the eye, so it opens it up just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go put on some liner, some lashes, and some mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, so this is the finished look. I'm really, really happy with it. I will say, full disclosure, when I sat down to do my makeup this evening, I started about 3 different eye looks and wiped them off because I was having trouble getting these shadows to work, and I was like, what is the deal? Why am I having so much, so many issues? Everybody's loving this palette. And I realized that I needed to adjust my makeup application just slightly. Now, the mattes in here, because I used Void, Queen of Blades, Gravity, 7 of 9, Firefly, and Nova. The mattes in here are so intensely pigmented that even if you just dab your brush in and you put it on your eye, you are getting, bam, full pigment. It is on your eye. And on top of that, they are so incredibly blendable. So what was happening is I was using Queen of Blades and Void, and they were getting muddy really, really fast. Now, that could also come down to my color selection because these two are so similar in depth and tone that I can see how, it'd be very easy for them to get muddy very fast. But once I realized that with these mattes, you need to kind of just place them on the eye, do little blending motions to soften up the edges and blend it how you want, and then leave it alone, it clicked for me. And I was like, oh, okay, I just need to change my application method a little bit. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to have to adjust themselves to make a palette work or to make certain colors work, just be aware of that. It's not a negative for me at all because, really, I'm just not used to mattes that are that blendable and pigmented. And I'm just not used to that because usually you get a nice blendable matte that you just can build up the color and the intensity, or you get a matte that when you put it there, it's not gonna go anywhere else, so you don't have to worry about it blending into other colors so easily and getting muddy looking. So just be aware of that. It just threw me for a loop and it wasn't clicking for me. But once I figured that out, oh my gosh, I'm in love. And these colors are beautiful. They show up true to color on your eye. This Gravity shade, I'm feeling this color. If you can't tell, it matches the wig. We're coordinating and I'm living for it. I'm an idiot. But anyway, and then these two, I don't even know what these shades are called. These are kind of like, these are like those shimmery, chunky, glittery shades, topper shades, but not only can they act as a transformative glittery topper shade, they also stand alone. These are smooth, they're pigmented, and they're just so pretty. I don't know if you can see that shift. This is Nova, and it kind of shifts from that blue to pink to purple. Firefly shifts from like green to pink to almost like a little bit of orange in it. Just so good. And I think the versatility of those shades and the fact that they have all of those tones in them really makes them conducive to working with the rest of the palette. Now, I haven't tried these other shades yet. I haven't put my fingers in them. I'm not sure how they act, but these two that I've tried, I am really, really super impressed with. And just the thought that went behind those to make those work with everything else in the palette, which again, doesn't surprise me coming from Angelica. So overall, I'm really, really impressed with this palette. It threw me for a loop because I just wasn't expecting the mattes to be that good, that intense, that blendable. But once it clicked, and I'm really, really excited to dig into this palette a little bit more. So hopefully this tutorial will be going up on Monday. I'm hoping to get at least one more look with this palette out on Tuesday or early Wednesday, just because there is going to be a limited restock of this palette on the 17th. So I've got to say, if you're somebody who's interested in this palette, go watch your reviews, watch your tutorials, watch your swatch videos, because I have a feeling this is going to sell out pretty quick, because this is just, as far, I mean, in my opinion, this is gorgeous with what I've tried. And again, I've only really used that top row and then this one down here, but if the rest of the palette is like this, we're going to be doing all right. And I've got to say, as far as an introduction to a brand and a formula, I'm really super impressed. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you like the look. Definitely let me know. Are you interested in this palette? Have you picked it up already? I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say. And I hope my experience with it kind of gave you a better, clearer perspective of how, you know, if this palette would work in terms of your makeup routine and how you approach makeup. Because if you're somebody who doesn't want to change up your routine and you do makeup like I do generally, you know, this is going to be kind of that would be an obstacle for this palette. But if you're somebody who, you know, applies makeup where you just set it, leave it alone, you know, if you're more used to that, you're going to love this, you know, or maybe you're just not into these bright colors. Obviously, I don't have a problem with them. But as always, guys, thank you so much for hanging out and talking about makeup with me. I hope you have an amazing day. Have a rockin' week, and I will see you next time. Bye.